Hello guys, my name is Divyaprakash. I'm a data scientist with over 1.5 years of experience. In this particular channel, I'll be uploading videos daily as a challenge where I'll be doing data science every day. I'll be documenting the things that I do as a data scientist. So today, for the past 2 or 3 days, what we were doing was we were working on a hull performance analysis problem and we were working on it. But today I'm going to take a pass in it because I have an interview scheduled in another 2 to 3 days, so I'm going to prepare for it. So this particular video is going to be focusing on a particular task that I'm going to do as part of my interview preparation. So the interview was for a role in AI engineering. So it is more focused on large language models, retrieval augmented generation, and generative AI. So today I'm going to work on a problem to brush up some of the text processing techniques, regex, and scrapings and stuffs like that. So what is the problem that I'm going to take is I have a bank statement with me. So it has some kind of data in it which is kind of unstructured, which I'd be showing you can see, have a look at that. So I'm going to import that into my workspace and extract structured data from it. So that's going to be the agenda of this particular video. I hope you guys enjoy this. So this is the kind of the bank statement we have right now. So the agenda is to pull this into a Python workspace because it is more like a tabular data. So we want to maintain the structure so that we don't lose any kind of information. So the idea is to replicate the same thing in the Python's workspace in the form of a pandas DataFrame or a CSV file. But the thing is since it is a tabular data, most of the parsers, now I've tried it already, so most of the parsers are not actually identifying the tables. So we just get the plain text out of it. So the task is to actually replicate this structure using some kind of pattern recognition and getting the actual structure out as the same as it is in this particular PDF. So let's see how we are actually doing it. So first, for reading the PDF, I have installed pdfplumber. So that is the one library that I'm using to read the PDFs that I have, and I've already imported the PDF into the workspace. So what we need to actually do is first let us have a look at the kind of data that we have. So when we come down, so yeah, let me just copy this. So I'm just using pdfplumber to first extract all the page textual contents from the page. So for now I am extracting the page content, and maybe because pdfplumber have the ability to extract tables as well, but since the tables are not structured well, it was not able to get those things. So if I just print the text and tables, you can have a look at that. And print table table content. So this was the thing I was having. So all the tables are it is the pdfplumber is considering it as text, and I'm getting the entire bank statement in the form of text. Here you can see, as you can see in the screen, it starts from here. So it starts on 4th September 2024. So that is the actual start date of the bank statement as well. So we need to somehow compute the get the table structure from this plain text. So let's see how we are actually going to do. For this particular purpose, I'm gonna use regex and identify certain key patterns, and then going to extract things from there. So I'll first open my regex test pad. So this is the one I use to test my regex codes, and I'm just going to copy the entire text content from the PDF. So this is going to be the first page, content of the first page. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to extract the dates alone. So this was the regex pattern I identified for it. So for the time being, I'm just going to copy that and paste it here. So what this actually will do is it will check for the dates. So slash d basically denotes a number. So first it is checking for a 2-digit number. So anything that we give inside the parenthesis represents the frequency of the thing we put before it. So it checks for first two numbers and a space and a list of characters. So A to Z plus represents one or more characters. So it captures the September, October, August, or any number of characters between that, and then again a space, and again which is spaced with year, which is again a 2-digit number. So that is actually represented by slash d parentheses. The main idea is to first, because these transactions are going to be a day-wise transaction list. So first we kind of wanted to group them by day. So that was the reason why I used this to match the dates first. And then what I did was, so like here I'm getting the first page content here, and this was the regex that we right now developed to get the dates. So what I'm doing here is finding all the matches. So that's been happening in this line of code, and then splitting the entire text based on that dates. So when I split it, basically, so the matches are this 4 September 2024, 6 September 2024, and values like that. So when I split it, so everything before this 4 will be one particular entity, and and the date will be another one, and the text followed by it will be another entity, and then again there is another date, so this will be another entity. So it will be like splitted by dates, and the dates will also be included. So that like we can it is more like a delimiter. So in CSV file, comma will be the delimiter to separate between columns and rows. Like that, like this particular pattern will act as a delimiter, and along with it the delimiter will also be present when we do split re.split. So I'll show you how this actually works. So I'm here matching the patterns, and I'm just finding all the matches and splitting it. So date matches contains all the dates, and date splits contain all the splits. So when I execute this, I'll get something like this. Date matches will contains all the dates in that particular page. It starts from 4th September and ends with 16th September. As you can see in the statement as well, it starts from 4th September and ends with 16th September for this particular page. And then for this contents, or the contents that is before that date and in between those particular dates. So for example, like this content is the one that's been present before this 4th September. So like all these particular text, and the second element is the thing that happens after that particular value and before this 6th September. So after 4th September I have all these values, and then like so that is actually represented as the second element here. And then the third is the same, like anything that's between 6th September and 7th September will be the third element, and so on and so forth. So what this actually gives is like except the first element, all the rest of the element corresponds to the number of transactions that's been happened in that particular date. Say for example, for the 4th September, this was the transaction, and for 6th September this was the transaction, and for 7th September this was the transaction. So only if we eliminate the first element alone and kind of match these two arrays lists, it will actually correspond to the amount of transaction that's been happened on that particular date. So what I did was like I kind of created a data frame to have a better clarity. So I had the so the first column is the dates matched, and the second column is the same it's date splitted to this list except the first element. So I've sliced it, so it looks something like this. So now for each day, so for 4th September I have this one balance brought forward. So this is my current balance for that particular page. So that's been in this first line, and the second line is like this one. So all this 450, 450 and 900. So that's been stored in this particular thing. So you can see 450, 450 and 900 and so on and so forth. So we have now that did our first step by splitting the bank statement into day wise. But still, like, for each day there are multiple transactions, so we need to split them into transaction wise. So we are going to recursively do the same process again for all of these row elements as well. Let's see how we are actually going to do that. For that, like, let us take an example. So I'm taking this row because it has multiple transactions in it. The first row contains only one transaction. So I'm taking the second row, which is the index 1. So it has for 6 September it has 3 transactions, as you can see. So a 450, 450 and then a 900 transaction. So I'm taking that one. So I'm just indexing that and having a look at it. So this is the plain text I have. Let us copy this and put it in our regex testpad. So now this is the kind of pattern I created to extract details from each transactions. So I'll put that regex first and explain what I did. So similarly, how I extracted dates. So because when I was splitting the first time, I want to split the dataset into date wise, and now I want to split the dataset into transaction wise. So I wanted to know the exact amount in that particular transaction, so I matched that. So it is pretty simple. So the first, so this slash d inside within curly brackets, if there is one comma, means it needs to match its digits which is more than 1 and more than 1. So it should at least have 1 digit. So since the transactions can vary, I can purchase for 1.5, or I can purchase for 20.5, or I can even purchase for 100.5. So the first digit will always be there, so it is mandatory. So it can have any number of digits more than 1. So that is the reason why I made a regex pattern like this. So this will match this 3 digits or any digits more than 1, and then it will check for a dot. Since dot is an already it is used for some kind of patterning, so we need to just escape it using a backslash. And then again the decimal point is always 2, so slash d into within the parenthesis we have 2. So we are matching those records. So that's what I'm actually doing it. So it's slightly different from how I framed that one, because in that when I split it using this one, I won't be having the delimiter. But in case of this one, I'll be having the delimiter when I split it. I'll show you how that actually works and what is the need for the delimiter. So bracket is actually used to group things. So this will persist the delimiter as well. That was the reason why I've made a parenthesis here. So I am again finding all the values where it is actually matching. So amount matches will actually give the actual amount. So here you can see the matches. So here the transaction are 450 and 450, 450 and 900. So I have 3 matches with 450, 450 and 900. So that will be first matched in this particular area, and then split will basically split it as I mentioned earlier. So here the anything that comes before 450 will be one element, and then 450 will be there as a delimiter, and then anything that comes after that will be the second element, and again the second 450 will be there, and then anything comes after that will be the other element, and then there will be 900. So that's how amount split and amount matched and amount splits actually work. Let me just hide this output for now, and let me do this. I'll just hide this for now. So first we'll have a look at amount matches and amount split. So amount matches, as I said, it actually gives us the actual kind of amounts in that particular area. Here this 186.16 is the final balance at the end of the day. So that will also be matched. And the splits actually have anything that is preceding that. So it basically gives us who actually made that particular transaction. So this one, and this one, it mentions who's made the transaction. And if it is blank, it actually means that it is the end balance of that particular day. So we can actually create a logic around it. So that's what I did here as well. So I'm just checking for each and every split in this particular splits array, and then if the particular element is present in match, then that will be my amount, and anything that is preceding it will be my source. So the source is going to be if the amount splits element is found in amounts matched. So here 450 is found. So if it is found, so the preceding value is going to be my source. So that was the simple logic that we built. So after doing this, so we'll be having the sources and amounts along with the dates. So that's how this entire system is actually built. So to give a recap, first we are segregating the bank statement into date-wise text chunks, and then for each dates we are then finding the amount of transactions using the transaction amount, and then we are splitting it and finding the sources of it, and then we are now going to combine everything into a proper data frame. So these were all for demonstration purpose. Let me just erase all these things. Yeah, I can erase this as well. So this was the final function I had. So first, I'm just importing pdfplumber and opening my pdf. So sample statement is my pdf, and running a loop to actually access each and every pages. For each pages, once I get the textual contents, because using tables I was not able to parse. So textual contents, I'm getting the textual contents and calling this particular function. So this function will return a pandas data frame, and I'm appending all those pandas data frames and finally concatenating them. So let us have a look at this function, which is actually giving us the pandas data frame for each page. So if you have a look at this, so it's it's the same process that I explained before. So first I'm matching all dates, splitting it, and creating a temporary data frame for each date along with the text that's matching each date. And then I'm having three lists to actually have track of dates, sources and amounts, and I'm looping through this particular data frame which contains the date level transactions, and again I'm splitting that using a regex pattern to identify the amounts, and I am splitting it and matching it, and the I use the logic I mentioned before to actually compute the sources and amounts, and I'm appending the sources and amounts as well. So at the end of this loop, what I'll be having is a list of dates with corresponding list of transactions with corresponding list of sources. So I kind of created a data frame in the form of a dictionary. So dates was dates, sources were sources, and amounts were amounts, and then finally I return the pandas data frame. So this will be run in a loop for all the pages in the PDF. So finally, when I get the final data frame, it will look something like this, which will have the dates ranging from the start to end of the particular bank statement that I have. So I totally have 82 transactions for the month between 4th September and October 4th. So you can have a look at it. So it starts from 4th September, and it's when you scroll on, so the 4th September is the last final thing. So, and this was the data frame I got for it. So for each date, what is the source and what was the transaction, and if there is the source is blank, it actually says the end of the day balance. Of course, this have a lot of limitations, and it might not be a production grade code which can pass all the edge cases, but for this particular statement it is working pretty good. Also, there is another limitation, which is here we have two things pay out and paid in, which actually says amount that came in, amount that went out. So that's actually we are not catering it, because there is no differentiable pattern between them to actually differentiate between them. So either like we need to compute that whether it is a positive one or negative one based on the, because we have the end result, so closing balance for each day. So any, like, for every statement there will be an initial value. So here, like, the total amount came is 450 plus 450 and amount went is 900. So it is being the same. But, like, if we can do all possibilities of positives and negatives and check whether these two values are tallying, we can rightly assign the values whether it is paid in or paid out based on the signs. So that is one way. Or like we can go for any kind of machine learning algorithms to actually compute these things. Or like yeah, so those are some of the techniques that can be used to do this. But my purpose of this video was not to do those things. I wanted to extract those contents from an unstructured format into a proper tabular format. So that was the agenda. So yeah, so I'll be posting the links of this particular notebook in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really sorry, like, if if it is out of context, because we were doing something else in the previous days. Because like I had an interview schedule, so I don't wanted to do those things for now. I just want to pause those things. So that is the reason why I made this today. I hope you guys enjoy this video. See you guys again in another video. Thank you.